But let's go ahead and get into it, man. What games have we been playing? We're going to kick it off and get right into the meat of it because we don't care about anybody on this podcast lives and what they've been doing outside of games. Exactly. I never like, Patrick, how's your day? I don't give a fuck about your day. I want to know, what games have you been playing besides Mario Kart on your fucking phone?
I don't even play Mario Kart on my phone that much
What?
anymore.
You dropped it?
I didn't delete it, but I haven't turned it on in a while.
Oh, man.
When did this turn into beautiful world?
I mean, come on now.
I did the opening thing of Dreams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then my son picked it up and he played it for hours.
I heard that they've like been remaking like Final Fantasy VII and like a few other games. I think got Metroid games on there or something.
I know the PT demo was on it, like in the beta version.
Oh shit! It's amazing.
You know, I saw somebody just recently do a video on that on freaking YouTube. Somebody was playing like that. It's got like PT full game, and they were playing it, and it's got like freaking Norman Reedus. Like Norman Reedus was like a freaking horrible claymation figure.
Oh, amazing!
It's funny that the Final Fantasy remake in Dreams came out before the one done by Square.
I know, right?
It's like it's taken them years, and somebody did it in a weekend.
You know, it's funny. There was another story that came out that there's a team they're doing Daymare 1998. That game is coming to console. I think it's out on PC already, and it's coming to consoles at the end of April. And what that was is they were actually trying to do Resident Evil 2 remake before they knew Capcom was doing a Resident Evil 2 remake.
Hilarious.
So they were doing it, and it was looking so good. Like, they were doing such a good job that Capcom was like, hey, y'all got to stop because we're doing that. And so they were like, oh, shit. Well, they was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, they actually were not really trying to make money with it as much as, like, using it as a way to get into the industry. So what they did was... Now, I didn't finish the whole article completely. My understanding, though, was that what they did is just take some of the work they did, but they kind of shifted it up a bit where they just kind of making their own game now, and they're pushing it out. I'm not sure of all the details, but there's an article, I think, on IGN that covers it and they talk to them. And it was pretty interesting. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool. You come across that they're actually doing... And I think even Capcom invited them to the studio to check out the remake before it was out and all that shit. So it's like
nice of them.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking dope. Like it's something they were fairly friendly about the whole ordeal, which is dope. Capcom's been getting a lot of respect, man. Really been in like a lot of the games they've been pushing out. The way they've been handling things has been dope. From Devil May Cry, Resident Evil to Monster Hunter and everything. Like they've been doing pretty good. Like Capcom's back, and I'm fucking loving it. Like a fucking McDonald's cheeseburger.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah.
That's right. What else you been playing, good sir?
That was it.
That's it, Dreams? No more Star Wars?
I haven't got back to it yet.
What a douche. All right. Ian, what you been playing, man? I know you could talk a little bit about some of the VR stuff that you've been playing because you haven't been on here at all. I think it's your first time on the gaming episode, right?
On the gaming one, yeah.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I don't know who any of these people are.
You don't need to know. We don't care about anybody's backstories here. We're just talking games. Like, Patrick right here could actually be a serial murderer. He can have like 20 different girls underneath his house right now, like their skulls, just sitting
That's
there.
That's fine with me. I mean, I live in Texas. I'm on a phone call.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
Far enough away.
14 and a half.
14 and a half. That works for me too. Like, look, man, I don't care.
Doesn't mean she was a child. It's just half of her.
That's right. Well, as long as you're here to talk games, live your truth.
I have been listening to the episodes though, so I kind of know who y'all are, but you don't know me unless you listen to the Movie So Bad They're Good podcast.
I listen to it. Oh shit, I'm on it.
I was about to say, aren't you on it?
I actually do listen to it.
Oh yeah, we have been talking for like 6 months.
It's true.
I was about to say, you asked him if he's been playing Star Wars. I've been playing Star Wars.
Look, I got somebody on here that's been playing Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Oh, a different Star Wars. Have you been playing the one where you play with Darth Vader? That one?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, cool. Talk to me about it.
It sucks.
Oh, that's terrible.
Like most VR games.
I hear Beat Saber's pretty good. Have you been playing Beat Saber?
Yeah. Beat Saber is tight. It's like
They got some good ones, but if you were to put a ratio on it, I think it would lean more towards there's probably more ones out there that suck than the ones that are good.
True. Yeah. Well, the thing with VR, it's like, it's still in the early process.
Yeah, it's still early.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like hardcore gamers probably not about it. It's more of like right now, all the games are for the experience of the virtual reality. And so like all the games are like really short, and they're not about the story or anything like that. But they're also like half price too as regular games. They're all like $10-$20. So so
yeah, it kind of is what it is. I think I've seen you put some gameplay up of some kind of like shooter. Was that you?
Yeah. That was me. Yeah, you I posted it on Facebook and you liked it. Yeah, that game is tight. That game is
what is that?
Drop Dead, which is a zombie shooter game.
Okay.
Where it's there's two parts. There's the single player mode, which is pretty lame. But the 2-player survival mode is really badass. It's like you stand like back to back with another guy, and then you just go against like waves after waves of just hordes of zombies. Like you're completely surrounded, like 360-degree, just zombies coming at you from every direction, and you got like all these guns, like shotguns, machine guns, pistol, and you're like dual weapons. It is really badass. And then, like if you're like looking one direction, then like you look another direction, all of a sudden there's a zombie like right in your face. You're like, oh shit.
That's pretty cool. It actually did look kind of interesting from what I saw. The gameplay footage you uploaded to Facebook.
Yeah, it is bad. Like that's the game that I've been playing a lot. There's another one. What's it called? I'm not remembering what it's called, but it's another first-person shooter where time moves as fast as you do. So like you're shooting at people, but if you stop moving, time stops. So if you move slow, time slows, so you can like dodge bullets, like the Matrix, pretty much.
Super Hot. It's like with
Super Hot. That's the one. Yeah.
Never played it.
Yeah,
I know what it is.
Yeah, he has all the information, but none of the experience.
I think when I got my VR, I got the PSVR. That was like one of the ones they suggest to play.
Like that game is fun as shit.
Okay.
It's hard too, because I mean, there's like I mean, you can move as slow as you want, but as soon as you pull a trigger, time just starts going fast again.
Okay.
So you have to like dodge bullets as much as you're shooting at other people, and it could be tough.
All right. That's pretty dope. That's cool. What else you got on the list? Anything else?
Well, that Darth Vader game, like I was saying, like it's cool to like have a lightsaber in your hand and use the Force.
Yeah.
Because that's what like everybody's just been waiting their entire lives to do. That's like the top of everybody's bucket list. Play with a lightsaber and use the Force.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That is cool, but there's like it's all storyline and like no action. Like by the time like you get the lightsaber, it's like, all right, game's done.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, okay. I've seen people playing like sword and sorcery and stuff that have been like putting lightsabers in. They got like lightsabers and stuff in the game now.
I see like the best lightsaber game I've heard is Beat Saber, which is just like kind of going to music and using it to slice with and shit like that.
It's like Guitar Hero or like DDR.
Yeah, it's the biggest
with lightsabers.
It's the biggest VR game I think I've heard. That
it's the most popular one. Yeah. I got that one. It's fun. It's like a workout.
Yeah, guess what I was about to say. I see a lot of people playing Beat Saber to like actually do like cardio, like to try to work out and shit.
Yeah, like you play that for a good like 10 minutes, you'll start sweating.
That's it, man. That's it. Get that nice sweaty look.
There's also a Rocky game, Rocky Balboa, or it's Creed.
Creed.
Yeah,
You could punch Rocky in the face.
yeah. You could punch Mr. T in the face. You could
Shit.
punch Apollo. Too late. And then you go online, and then the people online just kick my ass.
Yeah, that's how it always goes. You go online and you meet the savages, the people who live online and play those fucking games.
I was fighting this guy, and I was just blocking. And I just hear this guy on the mic just like, "Come on!" He's just going fucking insane on me.
Amazing. All right, I guess me and Kev will get into our weeks. We could do it together. Together. 'Cause we've been playing a lot of the same games. RE3, man. So Kev, you smashed this game way before I did.
Yeah, but this is you said you played RE3 before, but this is
No, never played RE3.
No, okay, so yeah, this is your first experience.
Yes.
I got the game on my freaking the PS1. So as I was going through it, I was remembering a lot of things about it because I've played through the game more than once. I love Resident Evil.
The only Resident Evil games I think I didn't play were 3 and 6. Well, actually, there's more than that. I mean, if you talk about the main stuff, it's 3, 6, and Code Veronica. Those were the ones I missed. I've played 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and then of course 2 remake. I mean, and then the offshoots like the Outbreaks and the Chronicles, Umbrella Chronicles, and all that stuff. I've dabbled in some of it, but I've never really played it through, and I've never put too much time into it. And most people sound like they don't really either. Those are just kind of these weird offshoots.
I don't know. Veronica is actually pretty good. The same as Resident Evil 0 is okay.
Well, I put Code Veronica in with the main series. I didn't say it was out. I just didn't I didn't really play it. The offshoots are like the Outbreaks, the Umbrella Chronicles, and shit like that. That's kind of more of the offshoot stuff. But the Code Veronica I think is in there as far as story. I do actually want to go and play Code Veronica and then play 6. I do want to play 6. I've heard mixed things. I think 6, even if it's a bad game, it might be interesting.
So, when do you have 6 on?
I don't have it, but you can get it on anything now. Shit, it's on all the systems now.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's right. I got mine on freaking Steam. I got 6 on Steam. So I was going to say we could co-op it together because I actually haven't played 6 either. Right around because after 5, I felt like I got 6, but then I was I didn't like the direction Resident Evil was going.
Yeah,
I'm kind of glad they freaking decided to go. They freaking went the way they did with 7 because I got back on board with the series with 7.
We'll see what we can work out. If it's cheap enough, maybe we can get just an extra copy. And you can play online together because it is like a co-op. I hear it's a heavy co-op game, like 5. 5 is a heavy co-op game, so
yes.
6 is that too.
Yes, that's the funny is co-op and it's just like 5 because it's very actiony from everything I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I hear that the backfall of it is. But apparently I think in 6 you play with Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine. I think you play with almost everybody. It's because it's like a culmination of all these stories from all the previous games. That's what I've heard about 6. But anyway, I haven't really given it the time. But 3, what is going back to it, revisiting it, what's your take on 3?
Oh, I love 3. If you ask me to choose my favorite Resident Evil, it's hard for me to choose between 2 and 3. Those two.
Yeah.
I love 3 because there's a little bit of randomness to 3 because different things can happen to you and depending on what you do and your choices and stuff. But we got a couple of different things happen to us with our playthroughs. I think you said there were a couple of times where you had gotten stuck on Nemesis, huh?
So the first time I saw Nemesis in the police station, I just ran because I had 2 bullets. That's all I had. I couldn't fight him. No way. I was using too much of it, knocking down zombies and such around the area that I was not prepared for the first meeting with Nemesis. The other time I think I passed him up because I think I killed him the second time you see him in the police station, but then I ran by him over at the I think City Hall because he's in that tight hallway, and I actually killed him there 4 times. But then I would be in such bad shape and no health to recover. I'd have to go against the big worm afterwards, and you got to hit those switches to hit those buttons and then get out. And it's just there's no way. Like I was too slow. I was crippled, so like I wasn't fast enough to get away from the worm after hitting the button, and he just fucking killed me because I had nothing to heal. So I had to just run by Nemesis.
That was another thing that kind of differed between us is that when you actually get to fight the worm.
That dude was easy as fuck. I didn't waste but like maybe a clip, like 5 bullets or some shit. I didn't do anything.
See,
I've got a question.
Joe.
Sorry to interrupt. Are you talking about the old one from way back in the day? Or
the remake did not come out yet for Resident Evil 3. That's coming in April.
But it is going to?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Continue.
So, like, if you've seen on my Facebook, I put up some video of me fighting Nemesis and me doing certain parts of the game, the old.
So you're replaying it.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's my first time playing it. For him, it's a replay. For me, I never played 3.
Oh,
first
really?
Time around. Yeah, no.
You never played it? I played it, but like a little bit. I sucked at it, and I don't know. I wasn't really interested. Like when I was like 12 years old.
I got you. Yeah, I had fun with it. It's really good. But that's the 2 parts that I got stuck on was those. And like you said, Kev, the difference there was.
I guess like I wasn't. Like, I've never really been much of a gamer, so, like, at the time when that game came out, I was playing Twisted Metal, where it's just, like, just shoot everything, rockets and just everything, that's what I was used to. So I went from that to Resident Evil, and then I was just, like, I ran out of bullets in, like, 5 minutes, and I was like, this game sucks.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, like those games are built to be survivalist, like the horror of like only so many bullets. And
I think if I were to play it now, it would be fine.
Yeah, you might.
And that's what Drop Dead is about. Sorry to like interrupt.
No, that's cool, man.
That. But Drop Dead, which I was talking about earlier, that zombie game. It's like you have all these like shotguns and machine guns, but they only have so many bullets, so. You have to like preserve that and use your pistol, which is infinite ammo, but at the same time, that you have to reload after every few bullets, so you have to preserve everything.
Okay.
So now I think if I were to play Resident Evil now, it would be cool. But when I was like 12 years old, like a big Twisted Metal fan, I was like,
I would say go back and play. I played the remake. Play 2 remake. You can actually start there, and if you're
is that on PS4?
Yeah, it's PlayStation 4. And if you like that,
I might get on that.
Yeah, if you like that, if you like the remake, then I would say probably try the 3rd remake because that's coming out in April. And if you're really digging that, and you're a little more curious about where this is going. Go dig back into the classics. That would be my suggestion to you, and dig around in that.
That's what I would suggest you do too. Yeah, just start with the remake.
Yeah, start with the remakes. See what you like. If this is a really interesting world you want to explore, then go back and check out some of the earlier stuff. They're easily accessible, so you can get those. But anyways, like you were saying earlier, Kev, the big worm. When you actually got to fight him, you unloaded all your ammo into him. And me, I actually found out that because he killed me, but I found out that he knocks a pole down and it electrifies the water. So I was like, let me try this. And so I just kept running back and forth, and I shot him maybe once or twice to like when he started trying to attack at me to maybe like get him back. But really, I didn't even do much of that. And sure enough, when the pole fell, I just stood by it. And he popped out and came at me and ran right into the electrified water and died. And didn't waste like any fucking bullets. When I went and fought the main nemesis at the end of the game, Like, dude, I had so much Magnum ammo, so much like grenade ammo, like all that shit. I was in good condition. And I didn't even need any ammo to fight the nemesis at the end. You just got to get the charged shot. You just got to put the batteries in the fucking big ass cannon thing and then just get him in front of it and he dies after about 3 shots.
Right. See, it's the funny thing about the Nemesis fight is that you actually don't need to use the ammo on him. You got to lure him into that corner in front of the thing and just shoot him, like you said. But if you do shoot him, you can't actually kill him with your ammo. You got to do that. You got to lure him in front of the railgun to kill him, to be able to kill him. Because what he'll do is once you get him low enough of life, his AI will just run away from you. It'll just start running away from you and it'll crawl into that corner and stay there.
But you know what's stupid about that, though? They don't give you the rocket launcher until that fight, but you don't need it. Like, why wouldn't you give me that rocket launcher?
You can easily pass up the rocket launcher with the way that they got it, because you got to get the little plastic key card and then you got to go to in the hospital. And I ended up finding the rocket launcher in the basement, kind of towards the end of the game, too.
Well, you can only find it because
it's pretty much at the end of the game that they.
Well, it is because you got to get the red key card to go up there, and the only way you get it is by fighting Nemesis, like the actual Nemesis fight for the last time, where you got to get him to run in front of the liquid shit that squirts out this like vial. It's not acid, it's something like that though.
It's the thing that it's like the freaking decomposing. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
They called it.
Yeah, it's like the de-evolve him or some shit like that because he kind of de-evolves with it. That's the best way to term it. But so it's after that fight that you can get the rocket launcher. But then the next big fight after that is fucking giant Nemesis. So what the fuck? Other than that, I thought that was just kind of stupid, but the other stuff with it was pretty good. I mean, overall, the game was pretty cool to play, even though it's like an old thing. It's tank controls and all that shit. I actually had fun with it. I really enjoyed playing it back. The Nemesis fights are interesting. I know you said you liked, Kev, being able to choose make a decision. And sometimes that lays out if you fight Nemesis or if you don't fight Nemesis in that moment. And it also determines how evolved Nemesis is in later fights, which can make fights harder or easier depending, I think.
Right.
So that's interesting.
And
but
then there's sometimes when you go through the game, like there's another part of the game you go through, you might end up getting the grenade launcher instead of the Magnum in the first part of the game.
That happened to me.
Yeah. So there's a little, like I said, there's a little bit of variance to the game. Not like a whole lot.
Well, see, I went and I got the grenade launcher first, but then I died. And then when I went back to that room, it gave me the Magnum.
Right. See that because I got the Magnum when I went through the room.
I ended up with the Magnum too through my whole run with the Magnum. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. But the remake though is going to be interesting because they're not going to allow you to choose. They're going to make it a straightforward thing. They're taking those like choice elements out of the game. So, and I mean, as far as story goes, it's still fairly the same, I think. I don't think anything really story-wise is different, but Nemesis is different depending on what you choose.
I wonder...
how do you mean by that?
So, there'll be a certain moment where you can, Nemesis pops up on you, and it'll be like, oh, push him off this cliff or run through the door, you know? So you can run away or you can try and fight him. Depending on the decisions you make, there's one point, because you fight Nemesis multiple times throughout the game.
Okay.
One of the times you fight him, like I fought him, he had all these tentacles out. He was shooting at me with tentacles and stuff like that. They were like a little harder to dodge. If I would have chose something different, because I watched some gameplay that somebody else did. If I'd have chose something different, instead of the tentacles, he had a rocket launcher at that point. And so the rockets are actually easier to dodge. So then I can, because you have a dodge mechanic in this game where if you hit the right trigger at the right time, she'll dodge out the way. It helps you with evading them and not getting hit. With these tank controls, it's pretty important.
Choose to fight on a train or not. Depends on if he gets hurt in a train.
Yes.
If you get I think that's what that is. Because then the next time you fight him after that, when the helicopter crashes.
Yes, that's the point I'm talking about there.
Yeah.
So is it pretty much you just going through the level, and then he like shows up as like kind of a level boss kind of thing, and then you just attack him, get him out of the way, and then he'll just
he's stalking you through the whole game. So he'll pop up as a boss, but you can run from him, and at certain points you can actually just run from him. You don't have to fight him, but if you do fight him and you beat him, you'll like put him down for a while where he won't chase you throughout the game.
Really?
But you,
that's interesting.
And you can get a weapon from
Is
him.
that both the original and the remake?
I don't know about the remake yet. That's coming.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, never mind.
So, but on the original, that's how it is. So in the original, whenever he pops up...
That's really interesting for that time of gameplay, because that wasn't really... like, back then, games were very certain. You have to do everything in a very particular kind of way.
Right. That was like the real cool thing about RE3 back then. Like I said, was the variants, and you could go through it and it wouldn't be exactly the same each time. And I think there's only 4 mandatory fights with Nemesis for you to progress the story. Yeah. And I think you actually fight him like 9 times during the game. There's like 9 opportunities, and the rest are optional.
Yeah. Yeah. And each time if you down him, you'll get like special weapons. Like you'll get the Desert Eagle. You'll get part A and part B, and now you got a Desert Eagle. Then you'll get like a health container to hold more health. Then you'll get like a special shotgun. And I think then you get like you get a couple of different weapons. Each time you beat him, you'll get something special. So you get a reward for fighting him more often. But to survive those fights, to do those fights, you need to have a lot of ammo. So that means dodging and staying away from zombies, which is difficult because the game throws hordes of zombies at you. Like at every turn almost. Like a lot of the rooms you go to, it's not just one zombie around the corner. It's like 5 of them. That happens a lot. So you really got to make the decision here. If am I going to try to plow through this group of zombies, or am I going to try and take them all down? Like what's worth it or not? Do I want to fight Nemesis that much? You know, or would I rather just kind of stay away from them? It really just depends. So there's a lot of like a strategy involved with how you want to progress through the game.
Right.
And
that's interesting.
But other than Resident Evil 3, Doom. So, Kev, why don't you go ahead into Doom a bit? Because I'm a little farther along in it than you, so I've got a few other things to kind of lament on.
Right. So we've been playing through original Doom. Seth has, first I want to say that Seth and me are playing in 2 different versions of Doom. You're playing on Xbox, I think it is.
Yeah, the Xbox One re-release. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and those re-releases from Bethesda, they're a little different because first they had some stuff censored in them because they had to like comply with like international laws and shit to be able to release them now. Like you can't have any Nazi imagery in them because there's a secret Wolfenstein level in the second one, and they had to take out all the Nazi imagery. And apparently the Red Cross didn't want them using the little white Red Cross on the health packs because they didn't want to be associated with Doom back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, so they had
Doom
to take
was
the
a
Red
hot
Cross
topic back
in
in the 90s. Dude, Doom was really got a lot of heat from...
I remember that. Yeah,
it got a lot of heat from politics and the news and, you know, angry parents. Back then in the early 90s, movies, games, there was a big uprising about like violence in that and stuff. And there was a lot of him hawing around because it was the first time we really seen stuff like that. Nowadays,
for sure.
Echoes of that
I
still
remember
exist.
It blew my mind first time I saw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, nowadays echoes of that still exist. Like Trump has made comments about violence in video games and the effect on your mind and stuff and all that. But it's
you don't talk about that a lot on this podcast.
Yeah, it's kind of a dead horse, beating a dead horse with it. Like it's not. We've already had this conversation.
That's not what I was
90s.
getting to, but
yeah, no, I got you. It is what it is. But that's going to Kevin's point here about like having to remove imagery and things like that. And it's been a number of games. they've had to do it, especially when it's different countries too. That's the other issue, because some countries are very strict about what's allowed in it than others are. And I mean, like, for instance, Germany, they don't want you to have any Nazi stuff in it because they kind of want that shit to go away.
Nazi imagery, like all kind of Nazi, it's actually illegal. So they had to take it out from the game
for sure.
At least in Germany. Yeah.
So, but anyways, so yeah, our versions are fairly different. We'll go ahead and
the other difference is that Seth's Nightmare mode, because we're playing on Nightmare. Nightmare's the hardest. Nightmare is made to be unfair. Like
it is.
Mine's a little more unfair because I'm playing on PC. I have the BFG edition, which is the first 3 original trilogy games, but I got a patch from off of online to patch the first 2 games so that they would be like the originals. They take all the censorship out and they put the rework difficulties back to the way that they were when the game first released, because that's pretty much the only way to play the games originally the way they were, unless you want to like play them on like a DOS box emulator or something like that. But so my Nightmare mode, all the enemies, they move faster, projectiles are twice as fast and everything, so it's a lot harder for me to dodge on mine than it is for Seth to be able to like kind of dodge and avoid enemies than it is on his. So I've been having a little bit tougher time with my version of the game than Seth has been having with his, and I've been stuck on this one level. Well, I was stuck on this one level for like a good while because I've been trying to go through the game and get all the secrets and stuff, because I'm trying to get some footage of the game so we can show
I'm not trying to get the secrets and shit. I'm just trying to beat it. Fuck all the secrets. Like, I mean, the secrets do help if you know where they at and you get them. There's like some of them have like buku health and ammo and shit like that actually really does help. But I'm not going out my way. I'm just trying to get through it. It's tough just to get through it because the enemies do not stop respawning. They respond quick. Even on the version I'm playing, it's like I've seen somebody playing PC, and I don't know if it's the patch version that you're playing or not, but it's definitely a PC version. That's all I know. And I was watching him do some run-throughs of Doom, of the Nightmare mode, and like his enemies looked like they were faster, but it didn't look like there was more enemies. At least from what I noticed, it didn't look like there were more. The enemies looked faster, and things looked like they were moving faster than what it looks like they move on my game. But it's I don't know if twice as fast is exactly that's they're a little faster, but I don't know if that fast, because honestly some of it too is I didn't realize that I could even run fast till I found out the sprint button. Like the first 2 levels I walked through the whole fucking thing because I didn't realize there was a sprint button. But once I realized there was a sprint button, I've been using it and like now picking the game pace up some for me, and it's helped. But I tell you what, one thing about Doom that I forgot about games is autosave. Doom does not have an autosave, even on these remastered versions. Autosaves are not there. And like, I think you were watching my stream, Kev, where I beat the one level and I got to the next one and then I died and I forgot to save. And I was just like, fuck. To go back to the last level, wherever I saved it at, and like, all right, and trudge through it, and then save right there when I got into the next level. Oh shit! I was so fucking like, I was aggravated, but then I was like, it was so much of a thing that I was just like, of course, whatever. Right. Because I think I was streaming for almost an hour. I was doing that one level over and over again, trying to get through it. Like, it's fucking tough, man. And these enemies pop up behind you, start firing on you, do damage like a motherfucker. It's crazy.
The imps, they're not so bad. They're not so bad. One of the worst things is the shotgun guys when they respawn right behind you.
Yeah, the generals.
Yeah. And they just freaking blast you. And these guys, they will hone in on you. Like, you won't, like, they can see you, like, through a grate or something, and you don't even see them because just, it's pixelated graphics, so you don't really notice them. But they will hone in on you and blast the shit out of you before you even see them.
That's it. And even up top places and stuff, because you can't move your your viewpoint up or down either. Like this first person shot.
Yeah, it's all as horizontal. It looks 3D, but it's all really just a horizontal plane.
Exactly. But like the bullets like track. Like you can shoot somebody above you. You just got to shoot in their direction, and it'll hit them. But like you're just looking in one direction. So it's just kind of interesting. It's a little weird. It took me a while to get adjusted to it, but it's really fun though. Like for how hard it is and everything like that, it's pretty fun. I'm really enjoying playing through Doom. You didn't play any Doom back in the day, Mr. Patrick?
No.
Really?
No.
You're a little more of a PC gamer back in the day though, huh?
I played some stuff. Unreal Tournament.
Did you play Wolfenstein?
At Service Merchandise on the demo computers.
There you go. My dad was actually telling me a story that when he was back in the early 90s, a little after I was born, he said that he has a fond memory of, like, because my dad's always said how he likes Castle Wolfenstein. Like, that was something growing up. Like, and he even showed me, I played the PC version of Castle Wolfenstein a bit when I was real young. And I didn't know it, but he just recently he was telling me about a story that, like, apparently that was one of the times in his like older age he's kind of not been as close with his dad, which now my grandpa's died and passed away, but him and my dad and my grandpa actually like stayed up like, I don't know if it was like not all night but definitely like pretty late and just had a time taking turns playing Wolfenstein back when it came out. And he just had like a memory of like connecting with his dad, just having fun, like playing that. So like, and I was like, that's pretty dope. And it was like, yeah, and he showed me Wolfenstein and, you know, I've always played shooters and stuff like that. And my dad likes to play Call of Duty with me from time to time. I'm not the biggest fan of Call of Duty, but I don't mind playing here and there. It's not a bad game. It's not my speed of game. But I play with him sometimes when I go by his house. Me and him will play Call of Duty and do a couple rounds online. But I didn't know that there was like that kind of connection. Like it kind of makes sense why he's always kind of like shooters and stuff like that because of that. And I just thought it was interesting. And it was behind Castle Wolfenstein. So, and apparently some of the rumors here are that the Doom guy is supposedly Blazkowicz is like great grandson or something like that. That's like, I think they're tying in some kind of story, but I don't know how canon it is. But I know that's been the rumor mill around that apparently there's some kind of connection between though, because you know they've been redoing the Wolfenstein games. They've done 2 new Wolfenstein games, which are pretty good. I've played and beaten both those games, and they're pretty good. The new Colossus, I did that on the hardest difficulty, and that shit was fucking hard. That shit kicked my ass for a while. But it's pretty good. And Doom 2016, I believe I played that one on the hardest difficulty available. And like that one was real fun. I beat through that Doom 2016. So I'm excited for Doom Eternal coming out. So playing around on the classic Doom is just fun to do. And you can see where 2016 got it right because they really do honor a lot of the things from the original. Apparently that's why they scrapped Doom 4. There was an interview with 2 of the main leads creating the Doom game on IGN, and they were talking about what happened to Doom 4, and he said basically Doom 4 was like the only thing Doom about Doom 4 was demons and like some like metal imagery, like hard rock metal imagery type stuff like that. It really got away from what made Doom a Doom game, and so they scrapped it apparently, and they kind of went dormant for a while. And so they finally came with Doom 2016. Now id Software's really starting to crank out some stuff. Right. But I thought that was kind of interesting that happened. But and yeah, it sounds like
I don't think a lot of people have played the third one. The third one because first of all, the BFG edition. There was a lot of problems getting it to run on Steam. Like there was a lot of crashes and stuff with it. They had a lot of technical problems with it. And then the game itself is just not that. It's not bad, but it's not great either. Like it does not live up to the first 2 at all.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into the topic. All right. So basically, I was going to spit it out like this. We had they had an article come out about Phil Spencer talking about who he saw as the real competitors. And he's like, I'm not trying to diss Nintendo, not trying to diss PlayStation, but honestly, we see ourselves more in the competition with Google and Amazon as far as this. From my understanding, he was talking about in the gaming sphere, it's Phil Spencer. He's only going to be talking about the Xbox and the gaming because that's his thing. I can see Xbox being more in the competition. Microsoft being more in competition with them as far as cloud services go. And like, I think what Phil Spencer is saying is our gaming is going to be in the cloud in the near future instead of the systems. I don't know if the PS5 and the Xbox coming Series X is going to be the last systems that these companies will produce, because I think the infrastructure, I think the infrastructure of the internet still needs to be for. I think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be
because like I've got a PS4 and I download all my games. Like I stopped buying digital or literal copies.
Yeah,
hard copies like 3 years ago. I've downloaded everything.
Yeah, I mean the good and bad with that, because I download a lot too, and but there's some people like. I recently guested on the Nerds podcast, and one of the guys over there, Keith, he's pretty hardcore into buying physical copies of everything. You know, for a number of reasons. There's a collecting purpose to it. There's also the fact that, like, for instance, the Google Stadia is not really doing so hot as far as a service for people to jump on and use. So, because it really just fucking sucks. They rolled it out too early. They really fucked up the marketing behind it, and it's just not impressive. It's not interesting. So, if they decide, if you were somebody who bought Stadia, bought games, because you have to buy games for Stadia to play on Stadia. If you were somebody who did that, and then Google all of a sudden is like, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore. What happens to all your downloadable games that you bought? Because that's happened already on, I think the PlayStation Network there's been like companies who are like, we're no longer going to sell this game.
Oh, so it leaves the marketplace.
It leaves the marketplace. So you got to download it or it's gone forever, even though you purchased it.
Right.
Because you can't re-download it once they take it off the marketplace. So there has been some issues like that have arisen that, you know, could be the problem with downloading. Like if one day Sony, which will probably never happen, that's why people feel so confident about purchasing online with like Sony and all that, is like if Sony ever shuts their doors for whatever reason and there's no more PlayStation, all that money you spent on the network, you better have like a good couple terabytes to download all the games you bought so you can play it on your last system. Because
it does take up a lot of space.
They do take up a lot of fucking space. That's the other thing. These downloads
I
are massive.
have to like every time I get a new game, I have to like delete something.
If Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be like 100 gigs, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 was like 100 gigs. Like some of these games are hitting 50, 60, 70 gigs normal of download.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of space. And like the PlayStation 4s and all that have started with like 500 gigabytes, I think was the basic system offering.
Yep.
Now it's about a terabyte. Some of the higher end, you can get 2 terabytes. I think there's some Xbox One X's out there for 2 terabytes. But yeah, for the most part, it's like a terabyte. That shit gets eaten up quick. You know?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Is that every time I get a new game, I have to delete everything that I already have.
Yeah.
Basically.
You need an external hard drive.
Yeah, you would need that.
You just plug that right in, and your problem is solved.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
But then you have to re-download all the games you deleted, so that's gonna suck.
And you know what the other problem with that is too? For me, it's data caps. Because until they get rid of data caps, I can't do streaming, gaming. Like I have like 1,000 gigabytes as my data cap with Cox Cable. And like if I go download Final Fantasy VII Remake when it drops,
1/10.
yeah, it's 1/10 of my data cap. And then like my kids are all wanting to like we don't have TV as far as like cable and antennas and stuff. All the TV that me and my family watch is like internet. It's YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, that stuff.
You're so advanced.
That's right. I'm on top of the game. But like it's all data used up on that data cap, you know? So it gets eaten up fast, especially when they're home. When they don't have school and they're home all day.
Like during the school year, we never see that little you getting close to your data cap email. During the summer, you get that shit
every fucking
I got it
month.
last month. I forgot what something was downloaded. Oh, my son downloaded Battlefront 2, and I had downloaded something, and then I got the email. It's like, oh, you're at 85%, and it ends today. I'm like, oh fuck, I ain't gonna use 150 gigs today. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you think.
But when they send you that email, and it's like, hey, you're at 85%, and your next billing cycle starts, and it's 2 weeks later, you're like, fuck.
Yeah. And I think it's $50 extra a month if you want unlimited data right now. So they do offer it, but it's another $50 a month.
That's worth it.
It would be worth it, but it just rings up the bill. So, like, if you got streaming and all that, like, you're going to be paying, like, I already pay about $100 a month for internet, right? So then on top of that, I'm going to pay another $50 a month for the data cap. So now I'm at $150 a month for what I'm paying for just internet. Then I got to pay the streaming service for Google. Then I got to buy the games. Then I got to have the proper equipment to play them properly, probably connected to an Ethernet cord or something like that, because right now, unless you got gangsta Wi-Fi, which they do have the Gigablast, the gigabyte, it's like a gig per minute download or some shit like that, something like that.
That just makes you run through your data cap faster.
Unless it's unlimited data, unless you got the unlimited, which is another $50, and that's another $10. I think it's only like another $10 a month to get the Gigablast. But then you also need to upgrade your modem, because the modems are like a 3.0 or something, and you need the 3.1 to be able to use the higher download speeds for the Gigablast. So now you got to buy a whole new modem. Either you're renting that from Cox for like $10-something a month, or you're paying about $100, $200. Well, I think those things are about $200 for the ones that can handle that. There's not too many that are cheaper than that, and if they are, they're probably dog shit. So you're making a lot of expenditures to be able to game properly on streaming. Right now, streaming is not really feasible for the general population. You'll have people who adopt the early adopters and such that will be about it. And then that's for me in New Orleans. If you live out in the woods somewhere, man, good luck.
Oh, yeah, true.
Good luck. So it's not going to work for everybody. So, like, streaming is definitely the future. I see that, because the concept that the new gaming consoles are always in your pocket, they're your phone, like, of course, everybody wants
and
that.
It'll just get better as time goes on, too.
It'll get better.
Imagine 5-10 years from now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
Like,
the
that's
evolution.
all that's going to be. There's a streaming. Streaming is going to be everything.
So what if he's like his competition is Apple and Google, because they have the infrastructure to house these streaming services, and he knows that Sony and Nintendo don't. Like,
That's
they're
why
gonna
he's
eventually
seeing
have
that.
to put their services on somebody else's servers.
That's why I think I wouldn't even be surprised if, like, PlayStation teams up, like, with, who knows, maybe Sony teams up with Xbox. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility. I think Sony could be approached by somebody like Google or Amazon to team up with them. I kind of predicted that they would be. I think I predicted it before, that I think Sony is going to team up with Amazon or Google.
They have Android TVs,
right? Because you can already see Nintendo getting kind of buddy with Microsoft and
Yes.
like wanting to use like their Azure,
Yes,
and
I see
everything
that.
to stream and everything. So you can already see that with Nintendo, because Nintendo is gonna, if they're gonna do like the whole streaming thing, they're gonna need some help.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be able to do it on their own.
Well, also, there's the questionnaire that came out that was saying, hey, PlayStation users, how would you like to see the PlayStation app on Nintendo Switch? How would you like to play PlayStation on Nintendo Switch? So, I mean, there could be some buddy stuff going up on there, too. It'd be interesting to see where it goes, but I think, hey, Kev, I think I sent the link over to you and Patrick. Did y'all see that interview, not interview, that talk that Tim Sweeney gave at the DICE Awards? I take the silence as a no.
I don't think I got around to looking at it.
It's an interesting talk where he talks about the future of gaming. Tim Sweeney is the CEO of Epic. He's the guy behind the Fortnite stuff and all that, like the head of the company that does that. He really gives an interesting talk of just laying it out, Like he digs into Google, digs into Apple for having like terrible practices with their like getting apps on there, getting games on there and stuff like that because of when he had to work with getting Fortnite on there and stuff. And he like kind of puts it out there on them, which is interesting. He also talks about that to him, he sees the future as all gaming integrated into one, which is interesting. Where like, because we're already slowly doing that with crossplay. We're already slowly doing crossplay. Even in some instances, I think there's cross saves as well too, where you can access.
Right, so it's you could play the same game. It's just from whatever device you want to play it from.
Exactly, and that's soon going to be the way we game. And what also Tim Sweeney said was he sees gaming being basically like Twitter, being the next social platform for people to come on and discuss ideas and things like that. And
I can see that already with my Oculus. That's
exactly where I was heading the conversation to is VR. Because the interesting thing is, as we see streaming take hold and we see the barriers getting broken down from gaming studios where we all have this integrated type of play, which would be interesting. I think you still have competitiveness about like, well, my program, my deal, you'll get like Netflix, you'll get all these games dollars per month and you'll get discounts on new purchase games and stuff like that. Or if you come buy on my system, you'll have this. You'll still have some competitive notions. It's got to be competition. It can't all just be fun and games with everybody. But I think as you slowly build out this huge platform where gamers in all can go out and exist. And then when you start introducing a better defined VR system in place, we're living in it, in a huge social reality. But not like, I think VR could play a role. See, people, it's some people I think who don't really play VR are shitting on VR. Like there's a line of people that I hear from that are like, if VR is not really going to take off, or it's just going to be a fad thing. But then
this is VR like in its Atari days. Like it's just starting out.
We see, and I hear other people who play VR, like our guest here today, Ian, who's like, nah, this is going to be like.
Some people really appreciate
the future.
Ataris.
Yeah.
So why?
Yeah, like I know I was talking shit about the games earlier, but I know EVR is like in its freaking early stages and everything. Like I'm amazed and impressed about like the technology and everything of VR, but it's just not something I feel is.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree that the games are shit right now. I mean, like I'll download a new game and I'll be like, hell yeah, this game is awesome, and I'm just like having time of my life for like a day and a half, and then I'm like, well, shit. Like I'll one day I'll put on my headset and I'll just be like, hell yeah, I'm about to have fun. I don't want to play that.
I'm gonna predict right now the first blockbuster VR game.
Fuck it. And then like I'm just like, well, this sucks.
What's your prediction, Patrick? Your first blockbuster VR game
the first one that changes it for all is going to be Grand Theft Auto VR, where everybody in there is just their own fucking character.
Well, what about this?
So waiting for that.
What about this Half-Life? People are trying to say the Half-Life is supposed to be the new thing that shakes up VR.
We'll see when it comes out.
This Half-Life game, people have been waiting for like Half-Life 3 for like forever. So if this Half-Life game is pretty good, it could like end up selling a lot of VR units. I could see that.
It could, but then it can also just be, I think, a middle finger to Half-Life fans who've been waiting for a real installation of the game.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
And then it's like a Half-Life 3 game that's like 2 hours long on VR.
Right,
it could. If it ends up being something like that, people are going to be pissed.
Yeah, I would imagine it can have a reverse effect.
Is going back to what we were talking about, the Darth Vader game that I've got. It actually comes in episodes, so it's like you've got 3 episodes, and so you're playing it, and there's just nothing but dialogue. You're like blah blah blah. You can't skip it, so you're like yeah, whatever. And then you fight somebody, you pick up a lightsaber, bam, game's over. Pay $10 more to get the next episode. All right.
The future of
and then you get the lightsaber. You're like, hell yeah.
That's what I
But you're not fighting anybody. You can pull out the lightsaber anytime you want, but you're not fighting anybody. And then you fight somebody. You're like, hell yeah, game's over. Give me $10 more.
I see that being the future in the way that like the game marketplace is becoming so competitive that to get your game in front of somebody, you basically have to give it away for free. And you have to make it so interesting that you get somebody to start putting in money into it. Like that was Fortnite. Fortnite broke away and was able to get people into that game where PUBG was charging people $30 to jump on for a pregame. Like it wasn't even supposed to be the game. It was like a test version of the game or some shit like that. So that being the model, I could see where we end up down the road with games being free from time to time. And it's just like, did you like this? Well, $10 and you get this level, and then $5 you get that level. And it becomes like a charge per play to where, because you know what? That would actually be an interesting model because most people do not beat video games. Like if you go look at the statistics, because you can actually look at, you can pick a game.
I rarely complete video games myself.
Well, you can even look at the trophies. Like you can go pick a game and look at the trophies, and you'll see like the trophy you get for beating the game, and it'll tell you what percentage of people who have the game complete it. Definitely not even close to 100% or even 80%. It's like sometimes it's like 40% or something like that. So
are we talking about storyline or like everything?
Storyline, just storyline. So most people who buy the game, I'm not even talking about platinuming. Yeah, I'm not talking about like doing everything in the game. I'm talking about just completing the storyline of a game. Most people don't beat games. So I can see a model that comes into place where people pay for the levels that they get over time. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just buying the whole package. That becomes more.
I don't know, because I've got that Darth Vader thing. I bought the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then it got really fun, and then it was like it's over.
Yeah.
Give me $10 more, and I was like, I don't care.
I mean,
so I might not even buy the 3rd episode.
Yeah, but the thing that makes that interesting, it puts it on. But the game developer.
It's only $10. So like I've paid $20 for.
That's the point of it, because it's like, well, it's only $10 because that's Netflix's model. It's only $10, whatever. Who knows? You might not even watch it for a couple weeks.
That's true. That is interesting.
So I mean,
but
like,
then again, I've already paid $20 to hit like 2 people with a lightsaber and use the Force to throw a rock at a monster one time. So I don't know. Like it's really cheap to go ahead, but what I've already had for what I've paid for is at the same time it's like, I don't care enough.
Kev, what you thinking about all that, man?
I think I'm kind of leaning towards the on this because a lot of people are fighting back against like the whole microtransaction thing. They hate it. And I've been seeing a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been seeing a lot more push for single player story experiences, like actual full length single player story.
It's mixed on that. There's a push for story experiences because there's a marketplace for it, but I don't think that's where gaming's going in general. I do see like even like I was telling you about Tim Sweeney's talk on the DICE Awards, which the DICE Awards, if you don't know, is the game developer. Like a lot of the game developers and stuff, it's like their award thing. It's like their get together to talk and discuss and stuff like that. And it's like all in-house with game developers and people in the industry. It's not like a public thing per se. News and stuff is allowed in there, but I don't think that it's really open to the public. So Tim Sweeney talked on that, and he talked about how, we do need to get away from loot boxes. He said those are predatory practices. They're terrible. And he talked about the future of games being, but he talked about it being social and being more of a multiplayer thing. And I don't think it means that single player games are not there, because there's definitely demand for it. Like me and you, Kev, I think are 2 here that are in demand for single player games. I know I enjoy them. I think you enjoy them. Most people, though, do enjoy the multiplayer games. Like most people are playing Fortnite. Most people are connecting on like games like that. Fortnite, PUBG. I mean, that's still kicking around. Call of Duty, playing online on games like that. Overwatch. You got MOBAs like, World of Warcraft. You have like all these other different games out there where people play online and connect. Destiny, and they're the kind of bigger games that most people play, but there's still a large sect of people that are playing single player. But I don't think it's the future of games as far as like, I think there'll always be a marketplace for it and we'll always have it to some degree. But even some of these single player games are finding worlds in multiplayer. Like the Resident Evil 3 remake. That's coming with the multiplayer in it, where one guy can play as Nemesis or some kind of like, or Mr. X, I think, and the other players are playing as humans trying to survive. You know, like they're already putting multiplayer into the single player game, which Resident Evil 2 remake didn't have. So,
see, the thing with that is that Resident Evil 3, the remake, it's got a whole full single player game in it, and then multiplayer is just add on.
True.
The multiplayer is not the selling point of that game, and it's the same thing with a lot of these other games.
Yeah.
You're talking about like Fortnite. They got their battle pass, right?
Yeah.
That's their big seller. That's where they make all their money is on their battle pass, because you get all this stuff. Every time you play the season, you get the freaking battle pass, and you just level up the battle pass. And that's where a lot of these free-to-play games, these multiplayer games, they're doing it. That's why they're adopting this kind of battle pass model.
Yeah.
That pretty much Fortnite pioneered.
Yeah.
But I think I think the whole thing, that whole model, like this whole model, it's almost like a subscription service, right? To a game.
Yeah.
If you're getting that, and like you have to, and I think it's kind of a bubble because at a certain point, it's like, think about how many games you play in a year, something that you have, and how much that could add up over the years. Like, how much are you really going to be willing to shell out to be able to play a game?
Well, I think it depends on how good you treat the updates and what kind of content.
I think from Fortnite, because I've played Fortnite, is the good thing with them is theirs is basically all cosmetics. So what you're paying for is just skins, dances, guns, like the stuff to go on your guns. Like you just put like wrapping paper on your gun and it looks different.
Yeah.
And then if you buy their battle pass, you actually earn enough money to buy the next battle pass, or sometimes they even give it to you for free. What they get you on is the other stuff they sell to make you want more stuff. So, but the way they're doing it, you could buy one battle pass and never have to buy another one again if that's all you want is just the battle pass stuff. And then to keep playing through it, because they want you to keep playing the game, because the more people playing it, the better it is for everybody. But then they had a lady that would come into my job using $20 PlayStation gift cards as rewards for her kid.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to buy dances on Fortnite, and it kept him making good grades. I was
My
like, well,
daughter
how much
does
you
that
spend
for
on that?
Minecraft. My daughter will
Like
get some money.
$600.
Here's the
God.
thing, though.
It's true. It's true. My daughter spent like probably close to a couple $100, maybe not, maybe like $100 or $200 on Minecraft. Because we bought the game on, I think, 2-3 different times for some different systems.
I got
or something.
the game on fucking everything for some weird reason.
Yeah, me too. And I also have given her, like, she's like, oh, I worked this out. I get $20 here, $15 here, birthday money. She'll get like, $20, $30, $40. And it's like, give me game tokens to put on Minecraft. There it goes. So, yeah, it's true. I see it that way.
See, and you costed me money because my daughter's like, hey, I need to buy this pack so I can play with
It's true.
with Seth's
Yeah,
daughter.
she's got to
I'm
keep
like,
up. She's got to keep up with Eva. She's got to keep up with Eva.
I'm like,
You
serious?
Yep, that's right. Hey, it's not my fault.
her pigs look like cows. Like, what? Well, my pigs don't look like cows.
Here's the thing, though. Do any of y'all play Red Dead Redemption 2?
No, I have not.
No.
That's one that hit my blind spot.
None of you?
Nope, I haven't really played it.
Okay.
You played
Do you know about the big controversy when multiplayer came out? And it was all like, they kind of fixed it, but it's still kind of a problem. But at the time, I guess it was a year and a half ago now, when multiplayer first came out, they gave everybody really shitty guns. And you could buy new guns, but you have to either grind for it for like 24 hours a day. Just grind and just play and play and play and just gather just so like few cents at a time to like finally buy a good gun after like 2 or 3 weeks of grinding. Or you can actually put in real money to buy a good gun, and then like it caused a lot of controversy. So
exactly
like a lot of people were
how the Wild
angry
West was.
that like you have to either do impossible grinding or actually have to pay money to actually have good
Street
guns.
Fighter had an issue, I think, like that too. Or no, maybe not Street Fighter, but one of them. Like you had to do impossible grinding or pay the money to get it. But it was like was it? No, Street Fighter didn't have
Like
that.
it pissed a lot of people off.
Was it Battlefront?
Battlefront, like it was.
That's what it was. Star Wars Battlefront.
Ungodly amount of hours.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it was an
Battlefront
ungodly
a big
amount of
one, too.
hours or money. Like, because that's the thing. Most people want to, like, look, if I got to work for it, I'd work for it playing the game. But if you're going to make it impossible for me to work for it, then it's like, well, then I'm forced to buy it. Like, fuck, that sucks.
And then, you're all of a sudden you're paying like $200.
Devil May Cry 5, they did something like that, but it was fair. Like, you could play the game and earn enough to get upgrades and stuff like that, no problem. But they left it open, like, but if you want to buy the orbs and upgrade early, you can buy them. Like, They introduced that in 5. To me, that's not a problem. I don't think that's a bad thing. But if they're making it to where it's impossible to get it, right?
Yeah,
you
that's
have to
how
buy
Red
it.
Dead Redemption 2 was like.
And that sucks.
Yeah, like if you buy 1,000 orbs for $10, or you played the game for 3 weeks and only had 3 orbs, then it's like, all right, this is a little ridiculous.
Yeah. So
like imagine like you're playing, you're say you're like 23, 24, you're single, but you're like playing this game, but you're also broke, so you can't actually buy new stuff. And then there's this like 17-year-old kid whose parents buy them everything. Just like, oh yeah, here's my credit card, but let's spend $20 on whatever you want. And then they're just like, they have this huge advantage over you.
And the plot twist is the kid's really 12.
yeah.
yeah, sure.
It's true. That is pretty true. But I mean, predatory spending practices and stuff like that aside, on trying to get you to buy things in the games, I mean, that's definitely a facet of the future of it. And I think, bringing it back over to what we was kind of discussing as far as just the future of games, I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it too, like we discussed, is like probably Sony, Nintendo, these gaming companies coming together in certain ways. And I think there'll be a mix-up. I think maybe we might see Amazon maybe teams up with maybe PlayStation, or Amazon and Google, or something. But because like Microsoft spent a lot of money and time developing their cloud server. So like PlayStation is not going to just overnight be able to compete with that. They're going to have to work with somebody, and that's it. And I think when that happens, when we get streaming down and we get fully connected, I think that's when VR also jumps. I think that it might jump the shark at that point. And we might see it in ways we haven't seen it before, especially in a social network. I think that's going to be the hugest thing. Bringing it back to what Tim Sweeney talked about gaming being the next social network. I think like having like Twitter discussions and things like that in a VR social atmosphere.
That's already going on.
Yes. And I think it'll only expand further once more people get into it. Well, I'll go ahead and say, let's go ahead and do a pause, and let's go ahead and get into the movie. We can kind of get more into these topics and stuff, because I think this movie is a good place for it.
Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.